Hello, it's Nikki. Welcome to a brand new week, a brand new month. I am really excited to be with you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I've got a plan. I've got an A4 plan in front of me, and you're going to get 5 episodes this week, and there's going to be a bit of a rhythm to them. So stay tuned, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and follow along. Also, these are going to be things that you might want to take to your journal or a big piece of paper or some Sharpies, or have a chat with someone, or have a chat with me if you want to book a free 15-minute session. As always, I want you to do something with these things and not just let the information float around and kind of just, drain off you. I want you to do something, take it, run with it, play with it, see what comes up for you. So today is, I guess, my first of the month, because last week was a monster week. It was getting back into work. It was finishing off home stuff. It was sending weird, creepy pictures. Matt and I were both sending them to each other of us showing rugs in shops and showing how fluffy they were, how soft they were. And we haven't had a moment to actually go to a shop together. And so, I've got a camera roll full of lots of weird pictures of hands and rugs. But that's another story. But today is my first, I guess, proper working day of the month. And at this time, I always like to give some time and attention to this. And so I never want to go, oh, wow, is it April already? Oh, we'll just see what happens. This, I guess, 3-stage process is going to really help with your planning. And I want to tell you first and foremost that I really struggled with planning for a long time, because in my head, I sort of thought that it was boring. It was sitting down, and it was all about the numbers or putting things in spreadsheets, or, I was very much like, I like to go with the flow. I like to see what happens. I like to have that spontaneity. However, I have also realized over the years that I don't want to waste my time doing things that are not necessary. I don't want to waste my time doing things that don't work or that are not intentional. And the time that I have available, I want to be spending it well. And so there are 3 P's that I'm going to share with you today that will help to ground you as we go through this month. So the first is planning. Now, this plan could be you spending some time writing down some words or some aims or some goals or some areas of focus for the month. I also want you to explore the second P, which is to play. And the third P is about progress. Now, the reason that I want to spend some time with you in all of these areas is because it keeps it really, I guess, moving and shaking. It brings an ease and a flow to it. And you know that that's what I'm all about. So if you just stayed in the progress or the playful situation, you might not know whether you're on track or not. So the planning thing is really, really important to spend some time doing that and really consider what your version of success is going to be for this month. And the reason that I say this month is because my April is going to look really, really different to my March. That is for sure. It's going to look really different to February and January, because now we've moved house. I've got so much more capacity. We're all feeling much more settled and grounded. We've sorted out bills. We know what we're doing, and it just feels really good. So the first thing that I would do in this planning section is actually look at what is in your diary for this month. So, for example, you might have some big projects going on, or you might have some time off, or you might have children that are on their Easter holidays, or you might want to start something or do something, or you might have more childcare or less childcare, whatever it might be. So I want you to see what your journey is of that month, because There is nothing to be gained by being generic. You know, when sometimes people say, right, okay, so if you want to hit your goals for this year, you need to divide it by 12 because that's what you need to be doing every month. Well, firstly, we know that February is a very short month. And secondly, we know that we have different capacities throughout the year, and sometimes we can really maximize what we deliver or what we create on one particular month, and then other months we might not have that capacity. So this sense of planning, what you want to do in this month has to work with what other things you've got going on. The two have to be in alignment. And sometimes this time spent in this planning zone, and if you're thinking on one hand, like, I want to do all these things, and then you look at the capability or you look at the capacity that you have, you might see that there's a bit of a disconnect, which is all good information, because at that point you can go, oh, right, wow, okay, maybe I'm overstretching myself here. Maybe I need to take a couple of things off my plate in order for my output to be maximized. So spending time in this planning situation can begin with half an hour of a piece of paper and mapping it all out, however you like to do this. But also this planning section is really important on a day-to-day basis, because what you want to be is you want to be proactive. You don't always want to be reactive, because if I don't have a to-do list for the time that I have available to work, I know that I will drift into the day and I'll get caught up in things that are not moving forward. And I'll watch a video and my energy will be a bit, not wasteful, but not purposeful, basically. So spending time in this planning, not only will you have somewhere to go back to, but knowing what you're doing each and every day will really help you to notice how you're spending your time. The second thing I want you to spend some time doing is in that playing, in life, in things that make you feel good, in spaces and spending time in that reflecting or bringing ideas or getting inspired. Because when people sometimes talk about smashing their goals, not that I necessarily use that phrase, there is sometimes a sense that it all has to be work. Like, right, I've just got to email more people. I've just got to show up more, or I've just got to do more. And I know if I am not conscious about what I'm doing, I get really burnt out. I get really resentful. I get like I'm just stuck and I'm not doing the right things for me. So I want you to spend some time in playing, because you know what? That's when the ideas will come. That's when you'll be able to look at something in a different way. And that's when it will continue to be fun. The third thing is, I want you to notice your progress. And so this might be about mapping out what kind of progress you want to make this month. And if it is vague, I absolutely urge you to spend some time really thinking about what it is. And sometimes it could be really simple things like, do you know what? I'm actually going to book that branding shoot that I've been talking about for ages. I'm actually going to do it. Or I'm going to look at my spreadsheets for the end of the tax year and really see where I'm up to. What has my progress been? It's spending time with that information. And what can happen then also is you can match that progress report with your to-do list, with your planning section. So you can then tweak and use these pillars as and when you need to. So if you get halfway through the month and you're like, I'm not really making the progress that I want to, maybe you need to go back to your planning section. Maybe you need to make sure that you are playing a bit more, that you're feeling good, that you're showing up, that you're taking care of yourself, etc. So here are a few of the things that I'm going to be doing, and they may inspire you to kind of do something similar, but this is for you. There is absolutely no perfect way of doing this. This is about you making this work for you. So in terms of planning, I am going back to my big picture goals for this year, things that I really, really want to do. And I'm going to spend some time mapping them out And sometimes what I do with this is I almost make a timeline, or I write out a journey. So, back in the day where we didn't have sat nav and you would write out the directions to your house, like turn left here when you reach the main road and you pass the greengrocers, you want to turn a sharp right, but once you see that farmhouse, you've gone too far, like all of that sort of stuff. Going back to planning, this is sometimes one thing that I do when I'm thinking creatively. So if I'm going for a goal and I'm feeling stuck or it feels a big stretch for me, I will create lots of different journeys in terms of how I could get there. So I write down, and these are all my lovely coaching questions, like what could I do? How could I get there quicker? How could I play around with this? How could this be more fun? And I write down lots and lots of different ways that this could happen. And you know what? There's a real magical moment in this because it really helps you to think creatively. It really shows you that there's not just one route. And actually, it's going to be really fun and really lovely if you think about lots of different ways you can do this. The second thing I want to talk about, going back to planning, I'm really going to be strict with my time. So 2 of the weeks of April are about Easter holidays. So I'm going to be really making sure that I am having lots of time with my children, and we've got family coming. And so I really want the time that I'm spending on my business to be stuff that I need doing, that I want to be doing, and things that ultimately move me forward. The second thing is about playing. I have felt from this move that I felt quite tired. And actually, I think I mentioned it on a podcast that I had a really bad shoulder. And I'm sure the shoulder, now looking back on it, was to do, I was probably lugging boxes around as well, but I'm sure it was to do with stress and old things leaving my body, because there is that quote, I don't know who it's from, so I'm sorry, old philosopher who probably said it, but your body always keeps the score. And I really felt when we moved into this house, I shed a lot. I shared a lot of stress. I shared a lot of stuff and memories. And I really had to create a lot of space in order to move in this transition. And so today I have booked 6 months. Yes, you heard it, 6 months, because I need that commitment of hot yoga once again. And already I'm starting to schedule in when I'm going to be going. And I know the amount, even though I'm paying on a monthly direct debit, I know the amount it's going to cost me for the 6 months. And I'm going to keep dividing that number by the number of classes that I do to make sure that I go. Because if I just go once in 6 months, it's going to be bloody expensive. So I need to come back to really using this sense of commitment. It's a commitment issue. That's what it is. But I know hot yoga for me, and I'm going to go back to my running a bit more because, again, I had COVID and then I had a sore shoulder and it's been raining outside. I need to find a bit more of a rhythm with that. But I know that my body is craving that hot yoga. And I don't know if you've done it before, but the teacher will often ask if you want to dedicate your practice to somebody, or if you want to send some energy to somebody, or you want to have an intention at the beginning of class. And you never have to say it out loud. But I tell you what, the amount of times where I go to a hot yoga class and I answer my business problems, or I find a new way, or I get my creative thinking, that is what I'm really craving. Also, I'm going abroad this year in the summer, and I want to feel good in myself. I don't want to feel like I can't. This is the thing. We see Vogue, we see magazines, we see fun mums on the beach, but they never see that moment where it's like you're pulling your swimming costume, or you've got a child that you have to lift, or anything like that. I just want to feel really strong and good in my body. The third thing I'm going to be looking at is really assessing my progress and what I'm doing and what's working, and the things that are not, or is not as obvious, I'm going to be really, really strict at chipping it away, because I want to have a really, really simple business. That is one of my biggest goals. So I'm looking at simplifying, and I will only get to know when, what I need to do if I'm really looking at it in that way. So those are the 3 P's that I'm going to be doing. That sounds a bit odd. This month. Let me know if you do any. Let me know if you like this episode. Please leave a 5-star review if you like it. And if you do, please let me know, because I would absolutely love to hear what you're saying, and I'd love to send you something as well. You can go to the freebie section of my website, nikkiraby.com/freebies. And also you can book one of my it's not free. My pick and mix sessions, which are not free. These are my pay sessions. In the freebie section, there's loads of really good stuff. But you can join a session, a pick and mix session, bring an idea or 3, whatever it is that you would like to do. And I would love to hear from you. I know that people are starting to really enjoy this next kind of phase of spring and new life and new business and feeling really good. So if I can support you, I would absolutely love to do so. I am sending much love. I will see you tomorrow, because I said there's going to be an episode each weekday this week. So I look forward to sharing those. I'll catch you then. Bye.